So you've got a unique product or service. You've got your website set up and you're ready for visitors. And you made some great ads. Now what? Now comes the fun part, media buying. For business owners, this can be very daunting. Should I be spending money on Facebook? Should I use Instagram ads? Which audiences should I be targeting? Luckily, you've come to the right place. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 media buying tips to help you increase your return on ad spend, acquire new customers profitably, and lower your ad costs, all while sharing the basic principles of media buying. Hey everyone, I'm Joey LoPiccolo, and I'm a media buyer here at Strikepoint Media. And welcome to the Strikepoint Academy, where you subscribe for videos on digital marketing tactics and strategies to scale your business online. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to our channel below. Before we jump in, we want to let you guys know about our monthly newsletter, the Clicks to Conversions Report, where we send out our top case studies and show you the inner workings of some of our most profitable marketing campaigns. In this report, you'll get access to what's working and what's not working for our clients in real time. If you're interested, subscribe to the Clicks to Conversions report for free in the description below. Okay, let's dive in. The first lesson I want to talk about is paramount to building a successful campaign. In order to maximize your results and truly measure the success of your campaign, you need to determine the correct conversion event. Lesson 1, choosing your conversion event. Lesson 1. So, the foundation of your campaign is going to revolve around one thing, and that's going to be your traffic quality. Now, to determine the type of traffic quality that is going to be best for your campaign, it depends on what your KPIs are, or what you're specifically targeting to seek in your returns. When it comes to traffic quality, it all revolves around the conversion event, of which there are 3 main trees: awareness, consideration, and conversion. From left to right, awareness is going to be your lowest quality traffic, meaning that Facebook is going to target people who are just going to see it and they're going to interact with the post between brand awareness or reach. When you go to consideration, things get a little more qualified. So for traffic, they're going to be more likely to click and actually go to your landing page. Engagement, they might like or comment a bit more, app installs, and so on. The most qualified traffic you can have for any type of campaign will be conversion oriented. We personally like using conversions as they can revolve around a purchase event, a lead, really anything you set it to, that's going to be your highest level. Facebook's then going to take that information and target the highest quality traffic per that conversion event. So that's what you're going to want to start with. But how do you pick that? That all revolves around your KPI. So your key performance indicator is really what's going to determine that. If, for instance, you are building out a new e-commerce site and you really just want maximum traffic, it would make sense to build out a consideration conversion event with that event being traffic, so you can maximize on that. Perhaps instead you want to build out an email list, and in that case, you would want to select a conversion and then optimize around a lead. This brings me to my last bullet point in this section, the art of a strong foundation. The previous 2, traffic quality and KPIs, will directly lead into the strong foundation of your campaign. If you don't set it up right, you can't find success. Having a strong foundation will enable you to have the full potential to scale in your future. Okay, now it's time for lesson 2. So you've got your conversion event and your KPIs sorted. You have your strong foundation. The next step is going to be determining your bid type. What is a bid type? On Facebook, there are 2 main categories of bids. That would be lowest cost and cost cap. While there are many mix and matches between that, what we use predominantly falls underneath both of those categories. So, what is the difference between lowest cost and a cost cap? What are those 2 bidding styles and what can they do for you? Let's assume that you are very familiar with both your targeting audience and the product itself. If you have a strong parity between those 2, lowest cost is probably going to be your best bet. What lowest cost does is it leverages Facebook's algorithm to say, hey, let's say you have $2,000. Under lowest cost, Facebook's going to do everything in its power to fulfill that full spend. So if you have high confidence in who you're targeting, that means that Facebook will be able to spend the most money as possible. That means Facebook will have the biggest opportunity to spend the most money, and lowest cost also allows you to scale from there. However, let's say you've been struggling to hit your CPA. your cost per acquisition. If that's one of your main KPIs, then cost cap may be for you. Cost cap is ideal if you need to hit a strict target and you don't have much margin to go over or miss your KPI. If you set it at to, say, $50, Facebook's going to deliver you a conversion $50 or less, or it's going to do everything in its power. If Facebook feels that it can't deliver under that range, it won't spend. So this is great if you've been having increasing costs or you're really trying to stick to a specific budget. However, if you're looking to scale your promo, cost cap kind of restricts that as it's a more conservative approach. That bid style doesn't engender scale, rather it engenders hitting a specific KPI. So now that you know the difference between lowest cost and cost cap, there are a few other ways that you can play around once you've selected your bid style. There are three main budget optimization options on Facebook, and they fall under campaign budget optimization, or CBO. They have ad set budget optimization, or ASBO, or ad budget optimization, ABO. The difference between these three optimization methods comes down to how Facebook's algorithm will serve ads. Under the campaign budget optimization, you'll have a set budget, say $500, and if you have two ad sets under that, it's going to spend freely within the campaign. So no matter how many ad sets you have built underneath it, you won't exceed that $500 limit. And that also gives Facebook's algorithm the most control over sending money to the most successful ad set. However, if you select cost cap, you're gonna have to optimize based on your ad set budget optimization. With ad set budget optimization, you're going to be utilizing the cost cap bid style and in tandem, obviously, the cost cap for your conversion event, as well as the individual ad set budget. If you utilize the ad set budget optimization, the cost cap will work in tandem with each ad set budget. So across each ad set, you could set your own cost cap limit. That could change. You could also set individual budgets. Those don't have to be consistent, and it allows for separate A/B testing. Additionally, let's say you have $500 as your ad set budget. That gives you the margin to have approximately 10 sales in that budget. And then finally, there's ad budget optimization. This will typically come into play if you are not utilizing the DCT or dynamic creative tests. We'll get into that a bit later on. However, ad budget optimization allows you to have manual placements and to fully control the amount of money each specific ad's going to get. If you feel you have a specific copy or creative, or maybe both, that will be really strong, this will give you the ability to manually set that budget and test to your heart's content. On to lesson number 3, budgeting. When setting up your ad campaigns in Facebook Business Manager, you always want to be mindful of your budget. If you're not careful, you can quickly spend your budget in the wrong areas and end up wasting time and/or resources. When budgeting for the learning phase, you want to keep in mind that each of your ad sets is going to have to exit learning phase. So if you're running too many tests, you might be limiting yourself by not allowing them to exit learning. The benefit of exiting the learning phase is pretty exponential. You can see increases in performance start at 20%, and depending on the promo or your sector, the sky's the limit. So now that you know a little bit about learning phase and the benefits of exiting the learning phase, how can you balance the optimization of having an ad set exit learning phase and also testing to make sure you're not missing any audiences? There's one key equation that I like to follow. I tend to take my CPA and multiply it by 50, or the amount of conversion events Facebook needs to see in order to exit learning phase. Multiply those two figures together and then divide by 7. That number would be the minimum amount of budget required to get that ad set out of learning in 1 week. Let's start off the top of lesson 4, know your audience. Ever since iOS 14 launched, Facebook has seen some challenges when it comes to reaching their prospective audience. Obviously, it introduced a lot of key privacy features, and whether or not you like them, it's made media buying a little bit tougher. What iOS 14 did to the audience sizes on Facebook is it shrunk them. Obviously, those audiences didn't necessarily get smaller, but when people opted out of offering their tracking information, What it did is it's now funneling less information into Facebook, and they can no longer target as accurately. Make sure you've set up your aggregated events and registered your domain in order to make sure you are converting to the best of your capabilities within iOS 14. Another key aspect of knowing your audience. Do you want to leverage the Facebook algorithm, or do you want to go with your gut? So let's say you're going to leverage the Facebook algorithm. What you're going to likely be utilizing inside of your targeting is DTE and DCT, or Dynamic Targeting Expansion and Dynamic Creative Tests. Let's start with DTE. Dynamic Targeting Expansion uses Facebook's algorithm to go off of the targeting that you're using and expand it in meaningful ways. So let's say you're using DTE and your client has this revolutionary new football. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna say, hey, maybe my audience is going to be interested in not Foot Locker, but football. So, okay, that's really broad, but let's say, they also have, children. So let's say those children are between the ages of 6 and 8. So now that has obviously shrunk the audience size. What you can do now is you can flip on detailed targeting expansion to where Facebook will utilize its algorithm. It'll scan profiles, it'll look into all the details that it tracks, and it'll say, hey, maybe this person, they haven't explicitly said that they like football, but maybe they're into hockey, baseball, and they also have kids in that age range. So by doing that, it gives Facebook the maximum opportunity to expand. And, I think they're pretty good at what they do. So you're not really gonna be risking too much when you turn this on. Obviously, if you have hyper-specific targeting, leave DTE off. It's not gonna do you any favors. When it comes to DCT, on the other hand, that's probably the best way of testing out as many variations of your ads as possible. What DCT allows you to do is it'll take all of the headlines you enter, all of the text variants, and any creative variants, and it'll systematically serve those to your target audience. And as Facebook serves variations of your ads, it'll obviously be tracking which ones perform the best. And naturally, as standouts begin to form, whether good or bad, Facebook will automatically adjust the spend to go to either the best, not either. It's gonna go to the best and it's gonna ignore the worst. Those are a few ways that you can leverage Facebook's algorithm. But if you want to go with your own gut, you can turn both DCTE and DCT off. Turning DCT off, as I said before, will have a narrower audience, but it'll also be more accurate and you'll be able to have a much greater degree of control. Turning off DCT will mean you have full control over which ads are served. So if you have one really strong headline, or maybe there's a static you really like, you can make sure that those variants are the ones reaching your prospective target audience. Okay, great. We're almost there, but there's one more critical step you need to take before you start spending any money on ads, and that is to test each and every step of your funnel. And that brings us into lesson 5, testing your funnel, testing. If you use Google Chrome, a great tool that I utilize is the Facebook Pixel Tracker. What the Facebook Pixel Tracker allows you to do is track your Facebook pixels. It's a really convenient Google Chrome add-on that gives you a one-button press view of any pixels that are on your page and any pixel events that are placed to fire when specific events occur. So by clicking on our ad, we're brought to our landing page for our ultimate guide to trading on Robinhood. So you go up here, you press the Facebook Pixel Helper, and you can see we have Facebook's pixel and our own pixel, as well as the page view. So we've gotten our click. But what if we want to see if they go through and become a lead? So you'll want to put in your name. We'll go Joey Lowy. And your email, SPM, you don't need to know that. Then you click on your event and you'll see there that we just got our lead. Sometimes you have to be quick though. Now that you know what the Facebook Pixel Tracker is, the reason that you have it is to ensure that your funnel is operating as it should. Let's say that you didn't do this and you're really trying to build out your leads, but you don't have your lead pixel placed. Any amount of money you spent, it doesn't matter, you won't be getting those leads. So not only will you not be building your list, you'll have spent money, and all of that money that has been spent wouldn't have been optimized in any way, because Facebook wouldn't have been able to optimize around an event, because I'm sure, as you're raising your hand to say, they wouldn't have exited the learning phase as they wouldn't have received 50 conversions in a 7-day period. With your Facebook pixel tracker handy, you can now go through the customer journey as they would see it. The best thing to do is to, click on your link, make sure you're getting your page views, make sure you're getting leads if you're tracking your leads. Ultimately, just make sure you're tracking what you're optimizing around. If not, you're gonna be in a world of pain when you wake up and you go to run your numbers and you haven't gotten anything. The last part of testing is to go beyond media buying. Sure, your pixels are placed. Sure, the customer journey makes sense every step of the way. It's paved, it looks good, they're ready to go, you're ready to run your media. However, going beyond media buying is when you look for other optimizations that can be made. While this may not necessarily be within the scope of your role at your company, it's always a good idea to be expressing any ideas that could get you an edge. Because while your ad may have gotten someone to click, obviously the best ad is going to have a high parity between the copy, the imagery of that ad, and the landing page and the funnel itself. Synergy between every step of the funnel is the best way to ensure you're going to be maximizing your conversions and scaling to the moon. So that's it. Those are the 5 actionable steps that you can take today to get your campaigns up and running. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Now, I want to turn it over to you. What did you think of those 5 lessons? Is there anything you wished we touched on? Leave your thoughts below. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Also, make sure to subscribe to our Clicks to Conversions report, where you get an inside look at our most profitable marketing campaigns and funnels. This is where you guys can see what's working and what's not working for our clients in real time. The link is down in the description. Thank you guys for watching. And if you want weekly videos on digital marketing tips, tricks, and tactics to help scale your business online, then subscribe to our channel below. We'll see you next time.